Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is the Frank Skinner Show with Frank Skinner, Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 8 12 15. We like the interactive nature of that. And you can follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, if you've got, like, a computer or a smartphone. Or,
in the unlikely event.
Yeah, and you can email the show. Go to the Absolute website, and I'm looking for a new search engine, but at the moment, Ask Jeeves. But we're trying to get Google, pay your tax, or I don't use you.
Starting with a political message this morning.
Yeah, that's how it's going.
Can I say, the show started in quite a depressing way for me.
Oh,
when
really?
the cockerel, who it's a delight to have back, I may say,
Morning.
said, where's that toilet roll we normally keep in the studio?
Well, I've got one of my heavy colds.
When you say one of your heavy colds, that sounds a very showbiz euphemism.
No, I was mocked for saying I had a heavy cold on this show once, and
Mocked?
Mocked,
It's
honestly.
like the temptation of Christ.
The caustic humour that I heard that day at the expense of saying I had a heavy cold.
I denied him 3 times when he crowed.
Yeah. It wasn't
you?
the temptation of Christ. What was it? Temptation of Christ is a different thing. What's the film called, Mel?
Oh, the last...
Something of Christ.
I think it's the last
This is the worst
Temptation of
30
Christ.
seconds.
No, the last
You've ever done.
temptation is isn't that Franco Zeffirelli?
Oh, is it? Oh.
What's the
What,
big
not
one
Mel
when
Gibson?
he gets beaten heavily?
Oh, I can't remember. Mad Max.
Oh yeah,
will-
that's
Mad
it.
Max,
You're
okay?
right.
Will let us know, won't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, but it's bad that we don't know that. Come on, Days, what is it?
Lethal Weapon.
No,
It's the ultimate
no.
lethal weapon, if you really think about it.
it's the of Christ.
Okay, well, we'll remember what it is. Come on, thanks.
This is a terrible start. It's the worst start to the show we've ever had. It's been... what's happened
I
to
blame
me?
my heavy colds.
So many judges were right, as it turns out. Oh, no.
We've missed you, though, Frank.
Well, I haven't missed the show. I've just
No,
been
I
away
know.
for a week.
I've missed you, though. I knew you were out of the country, and I don't like it when you're out of the country.
I was en France.
Oh!
That's what happened.
Did you go on Francais?
I did. I was on what I think you would call a group holiday.
Groupon, you get it cheap. You got a Groupon holiday.
I don't know what that means, but I'm laughing. So as to appear like I'm got my finger on the
Frank
pulse.
Skinner on Groupon, feet on the ground.
Yeah, I went away. I left. We flew on Monday afternoon, and we flew back on Friday afternoon. That's enough, isn't it, for a holiday?
Yeah. Well, it depends on
Well,
how
Friday
good it
to
is, I
Friday?
suppose.
Holiday. Well, Monday to
Monday.
Right. Holidays are generally too long. I think.
You're a worker, aren't you?
Exactly. I
Passion
am.
of Christ, we've had a couple of texts.
Passion.
I'm just going to say that
course.
to nip the others in the bud. I don't want people texting after the
If
event.
only
like,
someone had nipped that in the bud.
yeah.
How different things might have been for you, Jonathan. Oh no, it went on and on and on. Thank you for that. Is there any names or numbers?
Oh, they're going to come in for ages now. Joe, Ian in Teddington. Thank
okay,
you.
thanks, Ian. That's brilliant. So I went away with a group of people. I knew one. It was like all couples and kids. You know, I'm at that stage now. I have a child of my own that you have to go away with couples and kids.
Yeah. I've
Oh,
got-
yeah.
got
So it was
some
my
those holidays
first one
booked
of
in
those.
myself, yeah.
Yeah, it's my first one
Well,
of
I can
those.
go away with footballers and lap dancers.
Yeah. Well,
That's the way I roll.
That's the plus you have.
Yeah.
So I went away with. I knew one of the couples, but the other couples I didn't know,
Oh, newbies.
and they didn't know me. So they weren't.
They must have been
They
aware of
didn't
your
know
work, though.
I know that. I think they
Did
were
they not know
slightly aware. They didn't know.
They
I think
didn't know your stories, darling.
They didn't know my little ways.
I know.
That
I know
was the
your
problem.
ways, darling.
That was the problem. And I look back now. I feel a bit bad about the whole experience. They were good. They were good people.
Am I going to have to leave the studio?
No, they were good people, though. They were all, I think all of them, if not most of them, were card-carrying members of the Labour Party who'd all done good stuff, you know,
Right.
worked with the homeless and stuff like that. And I don't.
You don't.
I don't work with the homeless. I don't.
You let one of them sign your arm once. That's the closest I've seen to you.
Closest he's come to them is outside Nobu.
Did I sign their arm?
No, he signed your... Oh,
okay.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You
I signed his arm. I just wet a finger. No, so and they were you know, they're people who done proper stuff that you're supposed to do, help people, and you know,
They'd given back.
they'd canvassed, they'd gone door to door for the Labour Party and stuff like that. I vote, but I don't do any of that. But they were the nice. I'm the bad guy in this story. I'm going to be straight with you. And I just think that sometimes, for a fact, I'm going to come back to this because I'm trying to get myself off the hook, but I don't know if I was on my best behaviour. That's what I'm going to say.
Absolute Radio. Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So I'm away with these people who I didn't know very well.
On your Groupon holiday that you got off your iPhone.
He doesn't know what that is. Stop using it.
Yeah, just stop picking on
Bargain.
me. I'm not going to...
Can we establish... Are you in a villa at this point?
Yes,
Can we have the Cluedo setting, please?
We're in a French villa, not far from Bergerac.
Oh, lovely.
Right.
Obviously, he moves about. Yeah. But when I got there, I saw him in a car outside. I think he was casing. But so... I don't know, I'm getting a bit like... It was in Revolutionary Road, that film with... the fabulous Kate Winslet and the wonderful Leonardo DiCaprio. And there's a man in that who's... he's come out of an asylum, and he can't really mix with people. He says terrible things and upsets people. They can't have anyone around the house. I'm like him.
Oh.
That's what I've become like.
Funnily enough, I'm getting more like Kate Winslet, but...
I've got that fluffy face.
And without makeup, I look a little bit like Leonardo DiCaprio. So
is that right?
All in this together. Yeah.
Anyway, so on the first night I got there, and we got there quite late. We sat down for dinner. I'd been there about an hour, and somebody said, I've got to do this thing with Princess Anne, because a lot of them work like sort of charity work and stuff. And he said, I've got to do a thing with Princess Anne. And one of the guys said, which one is that? Which one is Princess Anne? Which is, you know... And I said, what? You don't know who Princess Anne is? Hold on. I said, do you not know who she is, or are you pretending you don't know who she is to be cool?
So, can I just establish, this is the first night?
I'd been there an hour and 10 minutes. And I thought it was a perfectly... And I felt it hadn't gone as... I felt there was a bit of a tension in the air. And then the next day there was another thing. And Kath actually said to me, will you just calm down? Well, when we was on our own. You just calm down. She said, I think you're on the defensive because all the men are younger and fitter than you.
Oh.
Well, that hurt.
Is that what it was, though? Or had you not noticed that's what it was at that point?
I'm not...
She'd noticed at that point. That's the problem.
They were all really good people. And not, they weren't... Like, there was nothing about me being there. They weren't impressed by celebrity. Obviously, that upset me.
That's where they went wrong.
Yeah.
They were young and fit, yeah.
And then we were talking about canvassing, knocking on people's doors wearing a rosette and stuff like that, which I've said... I could never do that. So I think that's the worst. I can't imagine anything worse than knocking on someone's door in a rosette. And they were all saying, no. And one of them said, it's actually really interesting. I said, no, but not for someone of my intellect. And again, it was meant as a
Please tell me you didn't say that.
It was meant as a joke, though.
Please.
No, it was meant as a joke, I think.
Really?
Yeah. And
you only think so, though.
I'm almost certain I meant it as a joke.
Alan, what's wrong with him?
and then this really, the last one really was an accident.
Oh, something was worse than what you've just said.
On the last day, someone was on about the fact that the kitchen was a bit dirty. And I said, this is nothing compared to my kitchen. I said, my kitchen, honestly, this is like an operating theatre compared to mine. My kitchen's terrible. And then I said, I said, I'm amazed, people. I must spend more time with ordinary people. But what I meant was people who have the normal standards of hygiene and what a house should look like and stuff like that. I didn't mean ordinary people.
No,
it sounded that way, though, didn't it? But
I tell you, I'm starting to think I can't mix with people anymore. I just say the wrong... It's like I'd imagine if you were on holiday with Michael Parkinson, we'd say... You know, when people get to a certain age, they just say stuff. I've become that person.
It's like being on holiday with Alan Clark.
You know the sort of old elderly relative you're more forgiving of, on the racist front. I'm becoming, not that I'm racist, but I'm becoming that person who says stuff over go, oh. And when I left, I've never had a less...
They threw a party to celebrate?
We went around handshaking and hugging up, and it's the least emotional farewell I've ever been. I really felt like
To be fair, you'd only known him since Monday, though, hadn't you?
I know, but it was long enough. And I cannot emphasise that everybody was very nice to me, and...
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
When chameleons get old, apparently, they lose the ability to change colour to suit their environment. They just stay the same colour regardless. Was that your stomach,
Yes.
Casey?
It's mine.
Was it yours?
Maybe we both did one and it
You
sounded
had a
loud.
simultaneous stomach roll.
Can I just
We've
say
worked
that was
together for a
music
while.
to my ears? Well done, darling.
Oh, it's like being at the office
Yeah.
in Star Magazine, where everyone is starving themselves. No, so that was that, and the other problem is that me and Kath can't cook, so we're always taking it in turns
Well, you couldn't do your bit.
doing the most amazing meals. And not only can we not cook, but we can't wash up
What?
or lay the table
What?
or tidy generally. We just
What?
can't. We can't. I don't know what it is.
Oh, at this point, calling them ordinary people really does seem a bit rude.
I know.
I mean, if they've been cooking and setting the table and
I know,
you've
I'm
I'm
done
seeing you
nothing.
two like you were a bit like Dame Maggie Smith in Downton Abbey.
No,
That's how they viewed you, I think.
We did try, but it's just that if we'd have cooked, it would have really spoilt everyone's night. So it would just it couldn't.
So did you just sit there like a laird waiting for the food to be produced?
Did
Yeah,
you
you
want a
know me,
takeaway
I'm-
on your night? That's
Yeah,
what I
I've
would
always
have
been
done.
very lairdish. No, I tried. I honestly, I wasn't there, and I was, stroppy and difficult. I went there and I thought, oh, they're going to love me so much because I'm such great company. Didn't quite work out.
Well, actually, we've had a text that... I mean, I wouldn't normally read this to you, but it seems like it's on topic.
Okay.
I think it's someone
Is it
trying
really abusive?
I think it's someone trying to affirm that you didn't behave that badly on your holiday.
Okay.
I wouldn't worry about it, Frank. You've always had a bit of the git about you, so it's not an age or environment issue.
Good
Is
use.
that from Kath?
No, it says from Jace, but yeah, I mean, there might be some hope in that
That's
text.
it, yeah. That's it, Jace.
Rather than
Yeah.
it being a decline, just think of it as a
Yeah.
continuation.
You're right. I have always had a bit of the git about me. Of course, that's
I'm really
so
glad
true.
you've taken that as well as you did. It was a gamble
No.
reading it to you, wasn't it?
One that paid off.
No, that's like a revelation to me.
To be
Of
fair,
course. Always I've had that.
but Frank, may I just say, also, I think that's fair enough what you say about the helping out in the kitchen and the tidying. Because I was at a dinner party once, and the couple said, the woman said, should we go and help X in the kitchen? Because the ladies are meant to do that, aren't they? And
Yeah.
the men were in there talking, watching football, and I said, I'm really sorry, I don't do that. And she looked so stunned, and I said, I think my talents are better used out here.
Well, that is.
But they are.
Well, they are. But that, I mean, that's because you were also sort of making a feminist point.
Oh, yeah.
So I sliced some tomatoes and things. Don't get me wrong. And then I suggested that I did, the jagged edge tomato slicing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was very keen on that, but they said it'd take too long. But
Right.
that was
can I just
that,
ask?
see what they did. That was my moment when I was trying to be enthusiastic, and I was shot down.
On your night to cook, did you at no point suggest we'll get takeaway? Because that's what I would have done. And you
What are
could
you
have.
going to get in France? Saucisson arras?
He'd have had his euros. He'd have had his euros with him, wouldn't he?
What a good night. Anyway, Boz had a lovely time.
Oh, did he?
I was with. Obviously, I was with my son, Boz, because I was with him, and he really liked it. It was.
Well, he's used to you, isn't he?
There was grass and stuff like that, and and animals for him to look at.
Right, nice.
He doesn't get that in Birmingham, in London, or Birmingham, or in
Oh,
our
my God.
11th floor flat. And there was a bit where he went to sleep in his little boggy on the grass, and I lay next to him on the grass, and I went to sleep as well. It's beautiful, just like my old days on the Central Reservation when I had a terrible drink problem. Beautiful.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This is like my essay, what I did in my holidays.
It is.
We went out for a bit of a day thing, a trip to a local town called Castle Moron.
Oh.
I didn't.
When in Rome.
I didn't. And we were sitting outside a cafe. Boz was asleep, and I think one of the other babies was asleep, and an enormous siren went off. I mean, a proper old-fashioned.
Eddie Houseman level.
Yeah. But really loud. I mean, that massively loud. And it turns out that it's the midday siren to let the people of Castle Moron know that it's midday.
Really?
That's a bit over the top, isn't it? That.
Have they not heard of the wristwatch system?
What, also, there's like a church clock and stuff. And I'm starting to wonder, Castle Moron. You kind of... Well, anyway, I don't know if there's anyone been to Castle Moron. Maybe they'll know more about that and they can text us about it. But I bet there isn't anyone that's ever been there except us. That's my thing. So anyway, it was... I disgraced myself. When I came back on the plane, I travelled Ryanair. I had work to do.
See, you're a man of the people.
Yeah, I
love
had...
that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no deep left on Ryanair. There's not even a left.
No.
I don't know why people... I'm not trying to get free flights. I can afford it. Don't send me any. But I don't know why people slag Ryanair. I like it. It's good. So I had some work to do, and I thought, the trouble is, I always get this. I don't like to work on a plane, because I always think, this is true, I always think, if it crashes, I'm going to be really gutted that I was working. I'd be thinking, as it plummeted to the earth, I'd be thinking, I could have just read a book if I'd have known this was going to happen, or listened to a podcast of some kind. So I didn't do that. But I'll tell you what news I received while I was away that shocked me to my very core. Actually, it was just before I went, but it shocked me to my core.
Uh-huh.
To Lisa? No.
Matt Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Smith is going from the Doctor Who.
Well, I was
This is
thinking of you.
This
I mean,
is a big deal in your world, isn't
Well, I know. I mean, it happens in Doctor Who. You know,
it? It does, yeah.
they come and they go. Obviously, it's the same person,
Yeah.
essentially. But I mean, the people who play Doctor Who come and go. But I really like Matt Smith. Was one of my all-time.
Was he one of your
favourites.
favourites?
He's brilliant. Great acting fingers. Long, thin.
We've actually had
acting
an
fingers.
email about this very subject, Frank, from Toby Behan.
Toby Behan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds a bit of a Shakespearean fellow.
No, I like the sound of Toby Behan.
Do you?
Yeah, it'd be Lord Toby Behan,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? Yeah.
Dear Frank, Em and Al, Frank has been bemoaning the fact that the Doctor Who team never got back to him about a part in the show, but
True.
maybe a suitable one never came up. Until now, with Matt Smith departing, is it time for a Midlands Doctor? Oh, that sounds a bit ITV1, the Midlands Doctor. Bet Nerys Hughes would be in that. That said, there are rumours that the next Doctor will be female. Emily gets my vote. A divine Miss Doctor. Ms. Doctor, he says. Alan could be good too. He could trade in the screwdriver for an inhaler. Doctor
Yeah.
the asthmatic.
That's true.
But my wish is that Frank is the Doctor and Emily and Alan are his assistants.
Brilliant.
First episode, the creeks have risen.
Oh, this is someone who's been paying attention.
Yeah.
I should. That's very fine. I got a text, an email actually, this week that started. Do you want to play the Doctor? And I thought, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Turns out they're doing a Neil Fox biopic. And I don't know if I want to go for it. It's called Next Up, David Bedingfield. Oh, Daniel. See, that's why he's a professional who wins prizes, and I'm just some bloke who turns up. I'm no Foxy.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were discussing the Doctor and
Yes.
and the vacancy. We had an email in. Frank as the next Doctor Who is the title of the email. Dear Frank, Emily and the Cockerel. Knowing Frank's love of Doctor Who and the upcoming vacancy for the role, I thought I would contact a well-known high street bookmakers to see what odds they were offering for our borderline national treasure to be the 12th Doctor. I was expecting something like 5,000 to 1.
Can I say, people do actually listen to this show?
Yeah,
Otherwise they wouldn't have known that.
they're saying bits of it back to us, which is a good sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was expecting something like 5,000 to 1, but was shocked and amazed. But was shocked and amazed to see that the bookies were quoting a lowly 66 to 1.
Oh, God, I'm in the frame.
Should I save my money or is it worth a punt?
Well, that's interesting because I've seen that Stephen Fry is also on at 66 to 1.
See,
I thought you'd like that, Frank.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't want to stop watching it after all these years.
That's his age, though, to be fair.
you, I'm not sure if they would be right to cast you, because surely you wouldn't be able to get the work done, because you'd be walking about going, oh my God, it's a Dalek! I'm such a big fan of those!
It would be a bit difficult.
Really what they want to do is
There was
cast
rumour...
someone.
Sorry.
They should cast somebody that isn't that overwhelmed by it.
Like The Fall.
Yeah.
Mark E. Smith says he never gets anyone in who says I'm a Fall fan. 'Cause
Right.
It gets in the way.
Yeah, so they could have me. Like, I've seen it and I think it's alright.
Here
But
we go.
I wouldn't be going,
Are we touting for business?
there's a Dalek, can I have your autograph? I'd just be...
I've seen it, I think it's all right. Doctor Who.
I've seen it, I think it's alright.
It is
Someone
alright,
said
isn't
that
it?
about me. That's the worst review someone could ever give
It's
me.
alright, isn't it?
I've seen it, I think it's alright.
Well, there's various theories. One is that they're going to go for an older man to play the part. That made me think I'm in with a shout because, let's face it...
Nothing wrong with going for an older man.
Well, it's a risk, though, isn't it, in showbiz at the moment? They are subject to sudden unavailability.
What about...
The older celebrities.
I heard old Grinty was in...
Rupert Grint, yeah, I saw... I saw
Yeah.
Rupert Grint as Doctor Who. How could that possibly be? He's like... How old is Rupert Grint?
Grinty?
About 13.
No, he must be nearly 90.
We'll probably
I
find
think
he's
He's
40.
20 now.
I think he'd be 19 summers long. That's how I talk about ages.
What about the woman theory?
Well...
This is, of course, a stir in...
Helen Mirren said she doesn't want to be the assistant, she wants to be the proper doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think is a
I
good
think
move
if
for
you had-
feminism.
If you had Helen Mirren, you'd have to have her as the doctor. You couldn't have her, as a...
Miranda's in the odds, she's on the list. And as you know, I missed out on a role in Miranda, so maybe I could be in...
Well, no, we didn't, because you never talk about it.
If she played the doctor, I could play the assistant. Like, she could have, like... Because she's quite funny and upbeat and bubbly, and I could be, like, the dour assistant. They could flip the whole thing, couldn't they?
That could work. It would be like... she would be like Lewis, and you'd be like...
Frank, you've fallen for it.
Morse.
He's written himself a little part again, and you played into his clutches.
Oh, I'm such a fool. I thought Susan Boyle could carry it off.
Yeah.
I think she'd play a bit quirky.
She'd probably be a bit quirky, yeah. I think that might be the understatement of the year, to be honest.
That'd be good. Or safe pair of hands. Linda Lusardi.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
There's this other man they're saying is a favourite for Doctor Who called Ben Daniels. Who's Ben Daniels? Is he Helen Daniels' son in Neighbours? I've never heard of him.
Ben Daniels.
Our favourite, Ben Daniels.
Yeah,
It's
it's
made
Ben.
up.
Yeah.
I don't even think
Is
he's a
it
real
that
man.
thin bloke from Park Life? No, I don't know Ben Daniel. I don't know any actors.
He was in Cutting It.
I don't know any actors, and I've gone off singing. What's happened to my life?
You're in the wrong game, love.
People on the telly singing. Singing, surely, is an audio thing. I don't want to see people singing all that
You want that on
spit.
the radio, do you?
That white stuff in the corner of their mouths. You don't want to see it. It's an audio. On the radio, it sounds lovely. On the telly, oh, look at that breathing thing. Look at the Adam's apple going.
Frank, what about Richard Osman? Oh, that would be a good one. He's got the height.
Is he on the odds?
Well, he should be. Let's find out. Someone ring up one of those bookmaker things. I don't like gambling, so I don't understand odds.
Turf accountant, bless you.
What
See,
about-
my heavy cold is spreading.
What about this then? But what about buying as a pair? So you get the doctor and the assistant.
Little and large. You're going double acts?
No, I'm thinking. Well, I've always liked a female assistant. I mean, there's been a few males, but I've always thought the classic combo really is the doctor and a female assistant. Do you remember Jonathan and Charlotte from the X Factor?
I do indeed.
He's a big lad with curly black hair, opera singer. They'd be just because he's a big fella. And
Daisy, the producer's just mouthed to me that it was actually Britain's Got Talent that was on, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
was it? I thought it was the X Factor.
She's a big fan of those shows.
Okay,
She'd have got this right.
No, okay. But he looks like an eccentric character. I could see him as a doctor, long curly black. I'm doing the hair with my hands. You can't see it at all, but I'm simulating the long curly hair.
Yeah, but it's a fine line between eccentric character and a bit smelly.
And also, once he steps out the TARDIS, it brings up the bigger on the inside subject straight away because it's apparent.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have gone in there. So you got that out of the way because people always go in it's bigger on the inside, and the doctor he gets fed up of hearing about it. Shut up about it.
I'll tell you what, that's a good point, the bigger on the inside thing. They could really make a feature of that with, who's the guy that hosts Grand Designs?
Don't ever ask me a question like that again. I've never been so insulted.
Who's the executive producer of Top Gear?
I have
Who's the
never
guy
been
that
so
hosts
insulted
Grand
in my
Designs?
life.
What's his name? He could be the next Doctor.
Shut up about it, Grand Design. Oh, honestly, I feel like I've closed up from the waist down.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily, Dean, Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215. Let me hear you say 81215.
81215.
It's sort of rhetorical.
Oh.
Follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, and you can email us through the Absolute Radio website. Which is like a proper website with pictures and everything.
Yeah, but you don't like www. Because you say no one uses it.
www/. Who does that? I don't know why they even bother with it anymore. No one types in www/oblique. Used to be oblique, now it's slash.
Is this the sort of rant that you would do as the new Doctor? If you were...
No, I'm hoping I'd be better. You know what, can I tell you something? I have...
Does your manager know? He got 66 to 1 odds to be the new Doctor Who.
Before, well, my manager phoned... It was just entered the room, actually. I don't know if you can hear the footmen talking amongst themselves. But... I got a message from John this week, to say, my manager leaves the shortest voice messages.
Oh, go on, do how they are.
It's sort of Frank gives a call. And so
It sounds like Elvis.
Yeah, and I call, and I thought, this is it. It's going to be the doctor conversation. It's going to be Stephen Moffat's been on the phone and want you to get to Cardiff and audition. And I was completely fantasised. But I have for a while fantasised about, my audition before Matt Smith went, what it would go like, and because they do a bit of improvising and stuff.
Oh, do they?
Can I say, I find it upsetting that your dream phone call is they want you to go to Cardiff to audition. Think big.
Yes. I don't even think of me in the show. I think of how good I'm going to be in the audition. One thing at a time. That's it with my daydreaming. It's reasonable.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We've had some suggestions for the new Doctor.
Yeah.
It's not funny, but I really think Hugh Laurie would be perfect for the Doctor.
Hugh Laurie has been suggested, actually.
Is that because he's a doctor in that other programme? Is it a doctor thing?
Maybe.
Oh, he's a doctor
like
in the
a doctor
house.
crossover.
Doctor in the house.
Because I was thinking Dr. Raj Passeau. He could bring some medical knowledge.
You can't just get random doctors up for the gig.
Why not?
Because he can't act. 153. Hi, Frank. What about the Fonz as the doc? Unusual choice.
Too cool. Isn't it too cool?
I can't see it.
If they are going to go older, what about Tom Baker again?
Jump in the Dalek, episode 17. Tom Baker again, that would be...
That would be a curveball.
Of course, John Hurt is around.
Yeah.
He was in the last one, so...
Hasn't he hinted that he isn't? He only played part of the Doctor or
yeah,
something
but we
like
all
that.
know what John Hurt's hints are like.
Do we?
I don't. I bet he's a big hinter.
Is that a bit of gossip?
Yeah, he's known for his hinting in the business. That's how he gets most of his work.
Jason Statham's at 100 to 1.
Oh,
terrible.
hasn't he had enough fun in his life?
Bit too action hero.
Kelly
I wouldn't
Brook.
mind him, but I think he might be a terrible human being. So
You
I
think?
discount him on those grounds.
I've met him.
Is he
He's
all right?
actually all right, yeah. He's
Just
all
because
right.
you've met
He's
people
worked with
doesn't
them
make them
all,
all
and he's
right.
worked with them all.
Also, he'd bring Rosie Huntington Whiteley,
Oh, yeah.
the Daily Mail's favourite. Anyway, we'll see what happens. But
Will I am. Curveball.
He's already got the outfits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout, Will I am, actually. Can he act?
Does it matter?
Yes. So dismissive.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I think there's been enough TARDIS action. I think we need a little bit of
Well, I would
email
justify it.
corner.
Yeah.
I just said before we say that there's been enough TARDIS action, someone has texted saying Will I Am was in X-Men First Class. I don't know if there's meant to be a comma after X-Men or if that's the name of the...
I've seen X-Men First Class. I don't remember him at
Is that what it's called? So he's not saying that he was first class in it? Because I thought he might be saying
No,
he can act and therefore it's a good shout.
I'm sure he's been... everybody now is in America who's a celebrity is in films.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
okay.
I think that's what he was like in France.
That's officially my favourite contribution to that you've done.
I think he sat in the chair just shouting things out like that randomly.
That'll be the next holiday. It's going that way. What's happening to me? So, what have we got?
Hi, you lot. A bit of a familiar, isn't it?
No, I'm happy with that.
Hey, you
Don't
lot.
be grumpy.
I'm sorry if this is old. You can't say that. There's no point booking me. Hey, you lot. I'm sorry if this email is old news.
Oh, is he on a show-by-show basis?
So, what is it? Some sort of
Speak to my
Newcastle?
people.
Yeah.
I tend to be a week or two behind on the podcasts. I've just heard you talking about the Skinner effect and wanted you to know that this is a well understood phenomenon called motion after effect.
I should explain for people who didn't hear this.
Yeah.
I stood on the beach and the sea withdrew. I'm not saying these two events were connected.
No.
But as the sea went back, I felt like the sea was staying still and I was shooting backwards myself.
Yeah.
And that's it's a sort of optical illusion.
Called motion after effect.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was trying to claim it that no one else had named it, so I could have the Skinner effect. Sorry, that's a bit of background.
Rich, who sent this email, then says, I'm sure there's a wiki page for it, and has put the link to the wiki page, which I would have deleted, I'm sure, and then put, I'm here. Here is the wiki page. You'll have to find another effect to Skinnerize. Sorry, here are 3 to start. The Skinner effect describes 1. The moment when the motivations of the brain's humour centre override the fail-safes of the mouth.
Cheeky.
Please see earlier conversations for your holiday.
Yeah, that's a bit...
2.
Who's this from? Nostradamus.
The keeper at Castle Moron.
2. The proportion of space that appears on a previously packed train depending on the volume at which you shout at another passenger. I can't picture you shouting at another
No,
passenger.
but I once drank on the
Oh, God.
the 8:35 to Crewe.
It wasn't Pernod years.
I drank a bottle of Ricard. And
I don't even know what that is.
It's a sort
Sounds
of
bad,
it's a
doesn't
brand
it?
of Pernod, and I've never had as much space on a on a train. And I wasn't shouting. I wasn't doing anything. I was sitting sat very quietly, reading the paper. Well, I started reading it, and towards the end, I was just looking at the pictures. And I wasn't I didn't trouble anyone. No one came. I had like the seats around me, and then the seats around them were empty.
Thanks for the tip. I'll bear it in
That
mind.
sounds good.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I've got a train journey today. I'll pop and get myself some Ricards action.
Yeah.
3, the longevity of which a toothpaste tube can be extended when incremental pressure, brackets squeeze and close brackets, is applied. Now that I
would
can
be
see
a
as
good-
you.
Yeah, because, you know when you roll it, when you get to the stage where this needs to be rolled, with the
Well, the
do you do
toothpaste.
that? Yeah. You make it
No,
like a...
I've never rolled a toothpaste tube.
Oh,
I buy
do
a new
it.
one.
When I'm finished with a toothpaste tube, it looks like one of those party blowers. And if you really... You think there's none left in here, and then towards the end, like... You can
A
still
little
get...
grip workout.
Oh, you can still... Yeah, it is. It's like a ball worker, if you remember that old
Yes.
fitness.
He likes to get a lot of bang for his buck.
Yeah, I've heard.
I do. I don't like waste. That's what I don't like. So, yeah, that's what I tell you. What about this for something that hasn't got a name that I know of? Do you ever get this when you eat spinach? After you've eaten spinach, you feel like your teeth are made of wood.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, I know what you
Maybe
mean.
I can claim that.
To
as
be
a
fair,
Skinner
you felt
effect.
like that for some years, though.
Yeah, at the Queen Mother, they actually turned to wood. Small wooden teeth the Queen Mother had got. God bless her.
Okay.
Pineapple, I get the same thing. It does something to my teeth.
Pineapple?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what
Yes,
I've heard
pineapple.
about pineapple. I've heard other stuff about pineapple.
What have you heard
Not that.
about pineapple?
I've heard it induces labour for pregnant women.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm on about eating it, though.
So am I.
Oh.
Have we got time for another email, Frank?
Can I say something I've invented, by the way, with
What?
speaking of squirty things?
Drinking a bottle of Ricard on a fat train.
If I've got a squirty bottle, you know a squirty bottle like you get now with ketchup and stuff? You know when you get to the bit where you can't get you know there's ketchup in there, but it's not squirting anymore.
Yeah.
What I do know is I get a knife with a serrated edge, a bread knife, and I just cut the top off the actual thing.
Bottle.
And just get it out with a knife. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
I don't leave it in there and throw it away.
No.
There's people in the third world kill for a bit of ketchup.
Oh, yeah.
So I do that. So the squirty bottles in our house, they spend their last few days as a beaker. Think on.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Right, you know, we were talking about who'd be the next Doctor. I don't think it's going to be you. I hate to break it to you.
You don't know, you know. I mean, no one thought it was going to be Matt Smith. No, I hadn't even heard of Matt Smith, to be honest with you, before he got
That's
the
true.
job.
And some people have heard of you.
They've not heard of
Also,
me, though.
Not those
I'm
people
a
you're on
shoo-in.
holiday with.
There's
but
an
others-
Absolute Radio link, isn't there? Because the OC used to get David Tennant in on a regular basis. Remember that?
The OC sold his bed.
He sold his
He what?
bed. Oh,
He
God.
sold David
I heard
Tennant's-
things weren't going well. Oh, he sold David Tennant's
He
bed.
auctioned it off, and I remember I got in trouble because I said, "Who wants some old Scottish man's bed?"
Yeah, we saw the bed here, didn't we? No
Yeah.
way was it David Tennant's bed. It might have been.
Why do you say that?
It might have been Jimmy Cranky's. It was too small for David Tennant. Anyway, I suppose it's a lot bigger when you get in.
Oh,
Very good.
Sorry about that.
Frank.
That's
You
quite
could play a
That's quite a mess.
baddie. You could play a baddie with that kind of...
See, I'd play anything. Keep saying this.
Daisy's upset on your behalf at how desperate you are.
in our corner.
305 has texted in.
Oh.
Hi guys, don't you think Sebastian Cumberbatch would make a fantastic Doctor? Love
that
the
the-
show,
is-
by the way, Karen.
Is that the brother?
No, I think she means Benedict.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Can I
Although
just
that
say,
would be
as
a
a
good
posh
bit of
person, I
casting
find
if
that
they-
insulting that all you poshans are the same. How dare you?
Yeah, would Tristram Cumberband. No, Benedict Cumberbatch has he's ruled himself out of it. He said,
He's sort of in everything, and he's a
well,
bit too busy
he's
for that.
already Sherlock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, share it out.
Yeah, exactly. What about Patrick Stewart from Star?
I'd be
whatever it was?
happy with Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a lot of experience
he's
of
got
travelling.
he's sci-fi.
Yeah, he would know what he was
credentials.
doing, wouldn't he? On the subject of toothpaste that we were discussing a minute ago, Frank, a tip with regards to the toothpaste: before rolling the tube up, slide the toothbrush handle along from the bottom to the spout. It must give an extra 1/3 of a brush worth.
You are. Shut up. Really?
And on same news, morning, free Mal, that's Frank, Emily, Alun, I guess.
Yeah,
Cut
clever.
the toothpaste tube in half. There's always a few more brushes worth.
Oh, I've done that when
From
desperate.
Paul.
Do you know what? That's basically my squirty ketchup.
Yeah,
and
but
I've
you
never
haven't thought of it
foolishly. I've
With the
never.
toothpaste. toothpaste, in your parlance.
Well, that's handy, though. Good to know.
Yeah.
We've had an email in. Hi.
Or
Frank.
just did my dad do? Didn't just use salt. Next.
Hi, Frank, Emily and Alun. I love your childhood. I was catching up on podcasts and heard you discussing George Michael's latest Little Bit of Trouble.
I like the little bit of trouble. It gives him a bit of a Frank Spencer quality.
Yeah, he fell. He had a whoopsie. He fell out of his... In case you don't know, George Michael fell out of his car.
He was a silly Billy. He was a vehicular silly Billy. It reminded me of how Frank says certain celebs are in the fat/stupid seat for comedians.
Yes.
Surely George is now in the driving seat.
He is, but he wasn't that night. Can we make that clear? Legally,
No.
not illegal.
Not allowed, he's on a ban, isn't
Also, very disappointed to hear of Emily's dislike for horses, as that is my trade. But if by some catastrophic accident...
What is it, a butcher?
she ever finds herself on Geordie's shores, I will happily offer her a riding lesson.
Oh.
Long-time prisoner, first-time corresponder.
I'm not sure
675.
about I'll happily offer a writing lesson. It's all right.
Oh, do you think he's being a bit saucy?
Well, I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, who knows? This is the thing I was on about, that certain people, like, if like, there was a time if you wanted to do a joke about someone being stupid, David Beckham would be in the stupid seat, so you'd make it a David Beckham joke. David Beckham, because of his national treasure status, seems to have been removed. I don't know who's in the stupid seat now.
I don't know.
Kerry Katona, maybe.
Is that the texting? Is that
Oh,
today's
I hadn't
text?
thought of it. Who's in the fat seat? Who would you just
for a
go
while
to
it
for
was
a
that,
fat
was
joke?
it Rick Waller that
Yeah,
was
but Rick Waller has gone,
famously
it's
in
gone. And Vanessa, but I don't feel they're
Yeah.
not. They don't really feel like they're there now.
No.
That's a good texting. Who's in the celebrity fat seat? It's got to be someone that everyone instantly knows as being fat, not some obscure.
Not like Britain's fattest man.
Not like
aren't
one of
they?
those Americans you get on the Daily Mail online, who've all got surnames as first names. You know that?
Yeah.
Anderson Keach, looking great in a bikini.
Anderson Quiche, more like.
Yeah, or, Baxter Harris. Look out with her new child. Who are these? These are just
with a
names.
new child. Like it's a handbag.
See, that's how they're treated, of course. That's how it is. It's all what else we could Skinner Frank. There could be a woman called Skinner Frank and attractive. Dean Emily obviously would be an elderly clergyman. But you could have a Cochrane Allen. There could be an actress called Cochrane Allen. That's how ridiculous it is.
That is ridiculous.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, I'm not a number, I'm a free man. That's from 820.
Brilliant. In case you don't know, that was from The Prisoner.
One of my
70s
favourite shows
TV.
of all
Was it
time.
60s, actually?
Oh,
Yeah,
great, now
Patrick
they know
McGowan.
how old I am.
I am not a number. I am a free man.
Can I say, I was not alive in the 60s, thank you.
Who? It's number one.
Four,
Sorry. I don't know, he kept it up.
406. Morning team, I'd love to see Jimmy Nail as the next Doctor, but he seems to have been shamefully ignored. That's from Andy Collin.
What else?
Jimmy Nail has in the past sued radio stations, I believe, so it's probably worth moving on.
I think
Rapido.
the thing is, they had Christopher Eccleston. And,
Yeah.
and Jimmy Nail is...
He's in the same casting bracket.
He's in the same casting bracket. I mean, you can almost see him in the leather jacket thing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's time to move on. Although I did like Christopher Eccleston. The good thing about him, he had regional accent.
Yeah.
Yes,
Shows that
they
a
need someone regional.
Shows that a Doctor Who could have a regional accent.
They haven't had a
Do you
West
hear me?
Yorkshire one,
Do you
have
hear
they?
me out there?
Oh, right, we're both doing the same thing, yeah. Good point.
Yeah, you've got enough acting work. Shut up. Shut up about it. There's lots of comedians who've been picked up, though, for the big acting roles.
Oh my God, you're so bitter about this. I can't bear it. You are more bitter about this than anything else.
Well, the nice thing about acting is it's so much easier than doing... Somebody else writes the stuff. There's somebody else that's already
You
written
did
it.
that play where you had the tortoise on your things.
I know, but I had to get my gentleman's excuse me out to get it. I mean, that's a big ask.
You've worked with them all, haven't you?
I said ask. What else?
Well, I'll tell you what else. There's been some new legislation this week. Can I say...
Hold on a minute. What is this? Parliament news.
I like the turn that this
New
show's taken.
legislation.
Can I say, that's one of my favourite words, legislation. I feel like
Is
I know
it?
about politics.
Oh, good.
I won't say anything else, I just say legislation.
Yeah.
Drop it in there.
Legislation, say it. Just
It's
kick it around.
Is it up there with dignitaries?
It's regarding Middle Lane road hogs.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read about this?
Yeah.
So they're going to be £100 £100
100 quid. 100
fines
squiddly did.
to people clogging up the middle lane.
Yeah.
Now you need to explain to me, because I just thought you picked a lane that you like the look of and you drove in that.
I hope you're joking here.
I'm not really.
I'm really serious.
No, because
about
the
this.
slow one... you're so serious about driving. The slow one is a bit puny. That's for pensioners. The fast one's a bit Qatari royal family, and I don't like that. So I settle...
Cigar smokers.
It's very
fast
cigar.
lane.
It's very Schwarzenegger, the fast lane. I like the middle lane. It's the speed I like.
Yes.
What's
Well, I
wrong with
think
that, Alan
I think this
Cochrane?
proves my initial thought that the legislation is essentially sexist. Picking on women. I'd just lay off.
No, I don't want to get all highway code, but there isn't a slow, middle and fast lane. There just isn't. There's lane one, and then there's two overtaking lanes. That's how it works.
He's right.
So if you're out
Got
of
a bit
lane one,
greyhounds, lane one.
if you're out
Who
of lane
calls it
one,
that?
you should be overtaking. You shouldn't be sitting there. Oh, I honestly think that.
Well, don't blame me. Blame Keith,
Life-
the West Indian driving
Never mind
instructor.
100 quid. Never mind 100 quid fine. I would go life imprisonment for the middle lane hogger. I'd raise the stakes, make it even higher. I mean, it'll free up a lot of room on the roads,
He's
which would be
turned
good.
really nasty.
Yeah.
He's really gone off him.
Right, have you noticed? I'm not even chipping in or anything.
But I need your support. He's gone a bit weird.
No, well, life.
I mean, I've always felt moderation in all things, you know. And the people in the middle lane clearly have thought, you know, I found a via media,
Yeah.
to use the Latin.
It's a waste of a
There
lane.
isn't a middle lane.
There is a middle
It is
lane.
annoying, and I have done that thing. Do you ever do this where you drive, you overtake them, and then you really veer across to the inside lane
Yes.
to remind them where they ought to be?
As if to say, this is how it is.
Yeah, I started doing that, but with my squirters, my windscreen squirters, so
Oh,
they also
God.
get a big blast of windscreen wiper
good, I'm gonna
fluid.
adopt
Yeah,
that.
do that.
I just think
I've
I'm
done
not.
it when there's 3 men at a urinal. No, but I haven't done. Yeah, I do that, and I always think, you know, that just to hammer it home that this is where you should
Yeah.
be, in here. Come in here. It's all
I
right.
won't be punished. He's looking at me like someone out of Top Gear. It's horrible.
I'm not looking at you like someone out of Top Gear. I was just.
I'm
looking
just not an
as if to go,
extreme
this is-
driver.
Nobody's an extreme driver. It's about
You
driving
are.
properly.
You are.
In a way, you are an extreme driver because you're doing it
Am I
incorrectly.
going to reach into the back seat and start knocking your heads together?
All right, George
Just
Michael.
reaching over the back seat, start slapping you. Shut you two!
I reckon
Oh.
George Michael's very much stay in the middle lane.
will you
George
just-
Michael pays for that.
Will you just... I've heard that.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Well, it seems I'm not the only middle lane hogger.
What? I'm aware
I
of
need
that.
you- QPR.
that's certainly true.
Annie QPR says, I cannot stand middle lane road hoggers. Drives me mad. Eamon Holmes admits to doing it too. So I'm in very good company. Thank you very much.
Eamon Holmes. You want to be in the Eamon Holmes bit of the Venn diagram?
Hey, I've just thought of something. He's not in the fact seat, is he, Frank?
Well, I think... didn't he
God.
write to Mock the Week? I don't know if he wrote. I don't know if people write anymore. But he
Yeah.
complained to Mock the Week that they'd put him in the fat seat.
Did he?
And I think he was legally removed
Well, in that
With
case, how dare they say that?
with lubrication.
How dare they?
Yeah, exactly. I suggest you just forward that to Eamon
Yeah.
Holmes' legal people.
Oh, hi,
fact-
Frank. Eric Pickles MP is surely in the fat three-seater sofa.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he definitely
But do
gets...
people know Eric Pickles? Bob's looking very blank. Do you know Eric Pickles, Bob?
I've heard of it.
You've heard of him. You lie to me and look me straight in the eye. So early in our relationship, I can't believe it.
Frank, we've had incoming from Tracy.
Have we?
Yes!
Oh, God, it's been a long time.
Tracy Emin, friend of the show. Oh, play friend of the show.
Been a long time.
Oh, I love Trace. Hi, Trace. I wish she was my friend.
I'm looking for the... Here we
Yeah,
go.
I know, I'm excited.
Friend of the show.
Oh, Tracy.
Beautiful.
Hello, Tracy Emin here. Imagine, she's actually said that to us.
All right.
Okay. I just want to say, David Tennant isn't the only one to sell his bed.
Oh.
Aye, excellent.
And
point.
once I had to give Matt Smith an award dressed as the Stig. It was quite surreal. Love Tracy.
That is quite surreal.
Or was she the Stig, or was
At least
he?
David Tennant cleaned his bed up a bit. I mean, for goodness sake.
Exactly. Keep tidy area, Trace.
What do you mean by that?
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Alan likes it when one of those big lorries passes on the motorway. Feels all macho. I hate
Actually,
those
you've-
lorries with the wires. What are those wires?
Do you know what does annoy me? When two lorries overtake each other. I just think they should have to follow each other.
Yeah, that is... It takes
it's
ages.
Yeah.
But as you point out, that lane is for overtaking.
Listen,
Don't have
can I
double-
tell you why I don't like overtaking? Because I'm a bit scared, and it's like Ben-Hur out there.
Well, get in what you
That's
think of as
odd,
the slow
because-
lane, then.
That's why I don't like undertaking, because I'm a bit scared. Una Chaplin's on the telly.
Lovely.
She looks lovely. She looks like a person who'd be a nice person.
Are people now listening to the radio with people watching the telly? That's
No, but
it's like
when I was
double
when I
watch.
was a young man, I had a big crush on.
Charlie Chaplin.
There was a program called yeah, that's.
I loved it when you fancied Charlie Chaplin.
Not when I was that young. A bit older than that. There was a program called Rhoda.
I remember it well.
and
Valerie
starred-
Harper.
Yeah, Valerie Harper. But I really fancied her sister.
Oh, did you?
And she looked a bit like, and she wasn't like at all like a sex symbol type woman. She just looked lovely.
Oh, nice.
And she went on to do the voice of
Someone in The Simpsons, maybe.
yeah, the wife in The Simpsons. What she called Marge. Yeah, she became Marge Simpson.
Really?
Jill has said, loving the James May type floral shirt there, Alan.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is very James May.
Jill also says, do you know James May? No, but thanks for the tip.
They
Can't
do. They
believe this
listen.
conversation is guaranteed. I will never wear this shirt again now.
We should say
I'm
to
worried
new
about
listeners that our theory is that James May, and the most macho show on telly, wears a floral shirt. The way people put up a sign if they're a hostage on the window, please help me, or throw something out the window, like, you know, because he's saying, please rescue me from these two. I'm actually quite a gentle. I like the arts.
He likes muesli and books.
I bet he does.
And they
We
like...
don't know what he likes, but he doesn't like what they do to him when the lights go down. Hey? So, we're talking
Sorry,
about...
I'm going to swerve into the middle lane here.
Again?
And I've had some correspondence in, and it's a question for you regarding your son, Frank.
Okay.
Morning, Frank, Miss M and Cockadoodle Cochrane. I just wondered how you and Kath agreed upon the name for Buzz. Was it just a discussion or a row? How did you settle on the name Buzz? I think it's great when people name their kids after someone or something fantastic.
Oh, that's a good...
My
good
wife
line.
Helen and I had an agreement from the off. If the first one was a boy, then I got to name him, and if it was a girl, then Helen chose the name. Hence, I was able to name my eldest Johnny Joey Dee Rush after the wonderful Ramones, and my youngest is called Harvey Lewis after Harvey's of Lewis, the greatest brewery in the world.
Oh,
Could have put John in the middle as well there. Harvey John Lewis. Bit of retail therapy.
Oh,
as
you only
well.
do that so you get a discount.
could have totally ruined his life and called him Huey Lewis.
That's from 126 from who's in Bahrain.
Yeah, there was a woman at the airport yesterday who said, "Oh, he's a lovely baby. What's his name?" And I said, "He's called Boz, you know, bit." But I heard her saying to people, "It's called Boz." Lots of. And this is how I work it out. People say that's a cool name. Good people. People say, "Oh, you know, bad people."
Simple.
Well, Nigel Rush is good
system.
people then.
This takes us back to driving in the fast lane. You know, I'm always looking for a brief rule of thumb to spot bad people. Mm-hmm. Convertible car.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally
Bad
agree with you. And ugly people generally. There's the irony.
Well, that's G-force. You see, you get a bit of protection from that. I saw a brilliant... When I was in Castlemoron, I saw
You
a...
start every anecdote like that.
No, but I saw a driving incident. We were all sitting at a cafe, me and my
Your
co-prisoners,
friends?
my co-prisoners, and this lorry started... there was a car parked, and this... when it wasn't parked, the bloke was coming up the road, and this lorry started reversing.
Oh.
And you know when they
Is it an
haven't seen...
18-wheeler?
They don't know there's a car behind. Mm-hmm. Not carbohydrate. a car behind.
Don't swear.
They don't have the carbohydrate. So he started backing up, and we all went, no, no, no. And the car, there's a bloke sitting in the car behind, and this lorry is coming out quite quickly, and the bloke, instead of blasting his horn and that, started reversing really quickly, and they went down this road backwards as fast as I've ever seen anyone.
Wow.
This bloke, like, really reversing. Oh, man. There's nothing funnier than a serious road incident in which no one gets injured. Then you can relax. If you know, I mean, as it was, the bloke was killed. No, it wasn't. No, I lied about that. But it was. I've never, and I can barely reverse at all. So to see it done so spontaneously.
You should hang out with George Michael.
Yeah, he can reverse like there's no tomorrow. And the way he's going, there might not be.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. This is just trying a few words before I go into it. This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. You can text us on 8 12 15. Do that. Like it. Follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio. Or you can email us through Absolute Radio's very own website. I think there's a picture of me and you in sunglasses on there today.
Oh, yeah.
There's a picture of the three of us.
What's that?
Separately in
Yeah, but
your
you look good in
sunglasses.
them. You look like Jackie O.
I thought you'd never say that.
Well, we don't have that kind of friendship where I say stuff like that. Hey, you're looking hot today, baby.
You said that.
Exactly. You see, just saying it abstractly, it felt uncomfortable. I felt uncomfortable.
You said it
felt
whilst making arresting eye contact with me. That was
I
the
couldn't- I
surprise.
couldn't
He
look-
couldn't
I just-
actually look at me
I
when he was
couldn't
saying
look
something
at
a bit
Emily and
sleazy.
say it. I just couldn't.
I liked it.
I respect her too much. As I respect you a little bit less. I respect you, but a little bit less. I've got to be straight
You're
about
a bit
that.
more one-night stand material, let's be honest.
Well,
Well,
you know.
I don't know about that. I like to at least get a free meal with a one-night stand.
Well, you're barking out the wrong
Don't-
tree, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have a look on Groupon and we'll
I don't want to go group
for
on
a
sex.
three-course.
Anyway,
I think it's time to enter Carl Corner.
Pardon?
I speak, of course.
Carl Corner.
He speaks a bit like that. This is Karl Lagerfeld, who...
Oh, Karl Lagerfeld.
You're familiar
is
with his work,
One
I
of
hope.
yours in the fashion.
He's one of my
industry.
favourite people. He's one of my closest international friends. No, he's not. I wish he was.
Does he use felt? That would be quite good, wouldn't it? If you were to touch the fabric and go, oh, it's Karl Lagerfeld, that, isn't it?
What, the beer mats?
He could use felt though, couldn't he? As a
He
Or
fabric.
not.
could,
lager.
but I
He
don't...
could use lager.
He could do that, but I don't think it'd be
But
a
he
very good
doesn't.
idea, do you?
I'll
Things
say,
are going all right for him as they are.
I don't think
either.
he's a man who's going to change his look in the immediate future.
No.
He's sort of found a look and he's stuck with it. Black leather gloves. Imagine how crinkly his fingertips are at the end of the day.
But we've already mentioned...
Walnuts.
I barely
Walnuts.
I won't have you being rude about my hero.
I admire Karl Lagerfeld.
Frank, we've already mentioned... Do you know... Are you familiar with the work of Choupette Lagerfeld? His cat?
Yes.
Of course, it
We
can work an
discussed his
iPad.
Is it?
We've discussed it before. Basically, the cat's got an iPad, 2 maids, and it's...
An iPad too.
It eats king prawn cake, and apparently... there was a comment about the maids, and it
King
said...
prawn cake?
Yeah.
What?
They make a cake out of king prawns for him. And Choupette has 2 maids, Francois and Marjorie.
Oh, God.
And
If
it
there's
says...
anyone listening from the third world, I can only apologise that such decadence goes on.
Of the 2 women, Choupette is said to prefer Francoise, so she has a favourite maid. But what's happened now, he's taken it on a bit of a step now, Carl, because he says he wants to marry his cat. He says,
you see?
I've never felt like this before.
You see, you start with gay marriage.
He doesn't mean
Can I
that.
say that was a joke?
Yeah, he doesn't mean
I'm
that.
pro-gay
to
marriage.
welcome the Christian right onto Absolute Radio.
I am pro-gay marriage, but I am anti-cat marriage, generally.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, cats very cold, aloof, distant, superior. They're made for marriage in many ways.
He says, much to his great disappointment, he says he thinks it's wrong that there's never been marriage for humans and animals.
Oh, for goodness sake.
No, but
Goodness, I know he's a bit of a ponytail lifter, but only when he wears a high collar.
Frank, I
He
liked
has a
how
ponytail.
their relationship started. He was looking after a friend's cat for 2 weeks, and he said, I won't give it back. Because he liked the cat, so he just basically stole it.
That's why they stopped him fostering.
What, this cat? He just kept it? So there's an owner somewhere reading this.
Yeah, what about this? Did I not tell you about when I lent him my lawnmower?
Hang on, this is a bigger story than the actual story. This is a borrowed cat.
It's a friend's cat, and he liked it. He refused to give it back.
Oh, I don't like that.
I love it.
I've gone right off him.
It's because he's an iconic figure. People don't want to cross him. So he says, "I'm having your cat," and they said, "All right, Karl." And he said, "Don't call me Karl, call me Mr. Lagerfeld." I said, "But I'm your brother. I don't care. Get out." No.
Been too many amazing things in this story.
I was going to say something that sounded ruder than I wanted to say. So I stopped myself. You see, I have discipline. If only I'd done this on holiday, I'd have new friends instead of new enemies.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I say what I like about this Karl Lagerfeld story?
I thought you were going to ask me, can I say what I like? No, you can't just say what you like. It doesn't work like that.
Now you tell
parameters,
me.
Yeah.
No, but I like the way he's treating these animals as if they're human beings. Because I think, to be fair, please don't take this the wrong way, Frank, but I sometimes worry about Shep. You tell me stories about Shep. He was allowed on the Eiderdown once, and then he messed himself.
Yeah.
And he was never...
Can a dog mess himself?
But he was never allowed back again.
No, quite right.
No, but then he didn't even get an iPad. He didn't even get walked. You just used to let him out and mingle.
Animals in bedrooms. No.
Treacle Poppet slept on my pillow every night.
Yeah, but he was a Premiership footballer. Where was he from? Was he Nigeria?
You got him on a Bosman, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's funny because it's true.
What loneliness can do. And I went out with I lived with a woman who owned a cat, and we had a somewhat argument about this. But I would not have the cat. I know they'll smother. They will smother if they can.
Not a Burmese.
No, they'll smother.
No.
If they get a chance to smother, they're in there. and a baby, they'll eat the face out into a hollow.
You don't have a sentimental relationship with animals in the north, I think. Is that fair enough?
Well, I loved our Shep.
Oh, no.
He was buried under the apple tree.
I know, darling.
But
we must move on.
Yeah, I did, but we're not sentimental. Like, I wouldn't have one in the bedroom. I wouldn't. There's certainly that all the dogs we had when I was a kid, I can't think of one of them that had two maids.
No, I have a dog at the moment, and
Lucky.
it's
how many maids has that
It's got 0 maids, but
Zero
she is
maids.
quite a low maintenance dog. So
She loves a
seems
snack
fitting.
from Poundland. That dog.
No. Actually, she's got a sensitive tummy, so we have to buy the expensive stuff.
Oh, wow.
Crippling! It's crippling for me financially.
What is the expensive stuff?
I don't know. It's some stuff that we've got on order from.
It's dog. You don't mean like
place.
steak and.
No, although someone did say the other day that apparently Whippet's raw meat is good, like no other food.
Why don't dogs get very high cholesterol?
They might.
They love a bit of red meat.
Yeah. They probably have a different way of processing it from we do.
Do they?
Is this really happening on this show? We're both speaking and stroking our chins. It's really
I'm
weird.
interested. It's like, this theory that we had a big debate on holiday about whether dogs...
Sounds like you had quite a few big debates.
about whether animals, when animals, how can I put this, when they have the physicals,
Oh,
whether it's casual or whether they know they're propagating.
Oh, do they have like one night stands?
Well, for me, my argument was that it's always casual with animals. They don't care. But we had a long debate about this, and got quite heated. In fact,
Really?
Wow.
yeah, that wasn't a problem.
That was the cat.
Yeah. But we were nice to the animals.
Okay.
But the thing is with dogs and cats.
Did you talk to the animals?
You-
Shut up,
yeah.
cat.
We did, yeah. I always think that, when an animal dies, obviously, it's very sad, but you can get one that looks almost exactly the same, and they don't behave that differently.
I find that with boyfriends.
Yeah, and that, to me, is the essential difference between animals and human beings. They're very, infinitely replaceable. If anyone's had a pet die recently, obviously I know I'm not trying to be dismissive of that. It's not. Is it going all right, this?
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We were going to sashay back towards email corner, if I'm not mistaken. And here I have an email. I'm a long-time podcast listener, but first-time correspondent. With reference to the superfluous instruction Frank mentioned that came with the tunnel he purchased for Buzz,
Oh, yeah.
I do not use to shelter from a thunderstorm.
Yes.
This was in a toy tunnel, I should just explain
Yeah, little
for
toy
any
tunnel.
new readers. I recently discovered this phenomenon when I purchased a chainsaw of Scandinavian manufacturer.
Who is this character?
The advice, written in block capitals no less, was as follows: never attempt to slow or stop the chainsaw blade using legs or genitals.
Wise words.
And Simon, who sent this email, says, I feel people who need such instruction deserve everything they get. That is all.
Oh, that's a bit.
He's gone harsh, but...
He has gone. He's suggesting that the stupid should be legless eunuchs. Pulling themselves on.
I think they could be
pulling
categorised
themselves
as the
around on
very
those,
stupid.
You know those little trays? Pulling himself around on one of those. That's too harsh. That would be the stupid seat. That would be the new stupid seat.
Yes, you're right.
If they could get a celebrity to try and stop a chainsaw with their legs or genitals.
Bob's brought in the red velvet cupcakes. It's distracting
Did
me.
we work out who the stupid celebrity?
Yum, yum.
I don't think there's one in the
No,
stupid
you texted
chair.
us Eric Pickles MP.
Eric
Who
Pickle.
is
So
it?
we can't wait to hear from his lawyers.
Who is in the stupid celebrity chair at the moment? So if you wanted to do a joke about someone being stupid, it would have been David Beckham in the old days.
You said Kerry Katona, but
Yeah,
I think
don't
she's
that's-
carbohydrates.
Yeah,
She's in the carbohydrates
I
chair.
don't think she's as much stupid as, a bit common.
Yeah.
Where stupid is a different
Oh,
thing.
I just thought of someone. Isn't it someone from Only Wears Essex? Like Amy...
But
one of
no
those
one
people?
knows. No one knows. No one knows.
Oh.
Don't ever bring that up again.
The Great Oz has spoken.
we've already when I mentioned Grand Designs.
Yeah, Grand Design. I've never seen Grand Designs. I tell you why I hate it. Because it's all over our Sky Plus records.
Stacey Solomon, she's in the stupid seat, isn't she?
No, it's too nice, you
All
see.
right, calm down. Gee, what's
She's
happened?
much loved. You really don't like horses, do you? You don't like horses and all their periphery creatures. How are you with unicorns? Yeah, me too.
Would you like to hear a missive from Cologne?
What?
Speaking of cologne, me and the cockerel was sent a nice little bottle of cologne from Christian Dior this morning.
Yeah. Thank you.
One of my contacts.
Oh, was it? What, did you organise that?
No, but they're
Okay.
friends of the show. Chris
know what I'm
Dior
gonna
is
do?
a friend of the show.
It's
Wow.
it's a spray on cologne. I'm going to do that thing. I've seen women do this when they spray it in the air and walk through it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
I'm going to put mine on the whippet. Because
Walk
I
into
think
the
I should be
fragrance.
more like
My brother
Lagerfeld.
had a whippet, and his girlfriend used to put perfume on it. She said it smelt a bit doggy. I remember. her
All right.
saying.
Well, it could have been the bum glands. They swell up, and then
I
you
think
have
it
to
was
take them
just
to the doctor.
I think it was
to the
its
vet.
I don't know if you can say bomb. Let me get the absolute manual.
I think it's fine about whippets, isn't it?
Well, I'm worried because bomb glands is in red. I haven't even read the comments. I'm Oh.
It's not sounding
No,
good.
you shouldn't have said that.
What about this message from Cologne?
At least
Yes,
you said
tell
bomb.
us the
You said bomb. That's at least you don't get instant dismissal, which is what you alternative descriptions.
Frank,
Globules. Seems odd. Sorry, carry on.
okay, can we get back to Cologne?
Let's do it.
Dear Frank,
I
Emily
wish I'd
and
had
Alun.
some German theme music then. That would have been great.
Would have been a bit sinister. Yesterday, I listened to your podcast of May 25th. It was quite Germanic. I love it.
It sounds like a policeman in court.
When you tried to think of different search engines besides Google,
Ah, yes.
may I suggest Ecosia? www.ecosia.org. It works
Obviously, I'll just
great.
put in Ecosia. How do you spell Ecosia?
ECOSIA.
I'm going to do it.
It works great, and they donate a substantial sum of their revenue to saving the rainforest. Also, a few weeks ago,
Do they?
you discussed the creation of a Doctor Who fan site and were coming up with pun-based names for it. What did they go for in the end? I can't believe nobody came up with wholettheblogsOut.com.
That's very good.
That's Sean.
And I tell you, great minds think alike. I remember going on holiday with a woman to Venice, and when I was in St Mark's Square, I sang "Who Let the Doge Out."
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Also, on that same flight, we flew. We went past Luxembourg, and the pilot said, "If you look out the left side of the window, you'll see Luxembourg." And I sang "Past the Dotty on the left-hand side."
Oh, lovely work, Frank.
She didn't get it.
Oh,
Tough crowd.
That was
that's
that.
a deal breaker if
You
she doesn't get that.
You don't want that to happen on the way to a holiday. I see on the way back, I could have started making arrangements.
There's a PS from Sean. If Alan is ever in Cologne and fancies a
Well,
Schwein...
he will be. He will be now.
If Alan is ever in Cologne and fancies a Schweinshaxer, I would be happy to take him to a great German restaurant. If you don't know what a Schweinshaxer is, as Frank would no doubt exclaim, a cozier it.
That's what I'm going to say from now on. Just to cozier it. What's the problem?
I did. I ecosied it. It does
did
the
you?
past tense as well as Googled, does it? But ecosied it.
I like
did.
it.
I ecosied it, and it's a Bavarian ham hock, so I am there. I would
I don't
love
like a
that.
ham
I tell you
hock.
what,
It's a bit
it is.
Rottenberg cannibal, that.
It's pig
Yum, yum.
It's pig knuckles, isn't it?
Yeah,
Pig knuckles in a lovely broth.
I'd be all over that.
I'm in. Right.
Listen to this. What do you think of this? I tried pig knuckles in a broth. It was dark but harmless, like a goth.
What's happening?
That was me. That was me rapping knuckles.
Oh,
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I'd like to speak about a story now that I think is actually a story about memory. It's if I was asked, will you speak about the dangers of nepotism on behalf of the government, I might think, hang on, have I ever given my children jobs in my companies? And James Caan, you know, one of the dragons.
Well, yeah,
he
well,
Oh, no,
forgot-
I'm
he
a Theo
forgot about that.
Peters fan myself. Sorry.
I've met Theo, he was nice.
Have you?
Yeah.
Who's your favourite dragon, by the way, Frank?
Oh, it's the Scottish one, Duncan Ballantyne.
Oh, good.
So you remember, I watched from my flat. I could see him in his flat getting measured up for a suit. Remember that?
I do now, yeah.
Ever since then, I felt that we're bonded in some way.
If you said
Yeah.
Peter Jones, I'm walking. As you were.
Well,
But he's my favourite billionaire, I think, generally speaking.
really?
Yeah.
They asked James Caan if he would be in this thing saying, "Oh, don't give your kids jobs," and then it turns out he's given both of his daughters jobs. Technically,
Yeah.
he claims, "Oh yeah, they went up for the interview," and you think, "Yeah, well,
Sure they did.
Which team leader is then going to phone you up and go, "Your daughter's not good enough. Sorry, we've gone with Steve from round the corner, just a normal guy." So it's nepotism, innit? What do we feel about nepotism, essentially?
I miss, you know, when you're away for the week, you miss all the news stories.
Oh, yeah.
So I must admit, I've always been anti-nepotism, and then when I had a child, I thought, well, I can see, you know, my dad got me into heavy drinking,
Right.
and without
Nepotism, yeah.
without contacts, that can be very difficult.
Well, exactly.
But I mean, you know, I've already got Boz into the Umbrella Hat Society.
Brilliant.
Is that, if I helped Boz at this stage, would that be nepotism?
Well, actually, I was recently involved in a contract renewal dispute, and they kept
Well, let me
saying...
settle down. This is going to be...
They kept saying that you wanted Buzz to take my role on this show, and so they really haggled me hard. I
did
took
they?
a pay cut to continue with
I told
this.
my manager not to use that one.
And the manager's in the room. This is awkward. We had a phrase.
in the house!
When I was growing up, we had a little phrase for that. We'd say, I mean, I'm going to come clean here. I'm no stranger to nepotism in my circles. And we used to say, where's he working? And you'd say, oh, Jeremy's working at IDB. And that meant in Daddy's business.
Oh,
It was terrible.
That's a good
it
one.
was so
IDB.
common in your life that you
Yeah,
had
you
an
go, oh my
acronym
God,
for it.
Charles is at IDB.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about when I did Michael Parkinson's show, and they said we'd like to have a meeting with the producer just to talk through, you know, the kind of topics we might go for and stuff. I said, okay, fine. They said, right, meet him at blah blah blah. He's called Mike Parkinson.
No.
Thought, oh, that's a small world, isn't it?
Change your name, love.
Yeah, at least, okay, not the first name as well. I mean, I would have put, so that was, so his son was the, and of course he gets mentioned in a Fall song. In which Marky Smith goes, Michael Parkinson's son, made from coal. Which one of my favourites ever. Carry on.
Well, we're discussing the misery of James Caan for having been exposed. He was in misery,
ITV.
wasn't he, the actor, James Caan?
Was he?
I think so.
Well, he named
Or
himself
maybe I've
after
got-
the actor.
He did, yeah.
Did he name himself
He was with a
after
K, K-H-A-N.
Oh,
Sorry, K-H-A-N for some other
I
listeners.
get the connection.
And...
I get the connection.
Oh!
The connection.
I don't understand. Oh, French Connection.
There you go.
Oh, I love that shop.
Phew.
Sorry.
Well, that's when I saw the story, which I only saw this morning, yesterday. I thought, is that such a big deal that James Caan is a hypocrite? And I thought it was. I didn't realise that bloke was called James Caan.
Yes.
What about that for a bit of a story from my life?
I think what happened was...
There's people at home saying, "Hear that? Hey, Karen, come here a minute." Frank Skinner just saying he didn't know. James Caan didn't.
Can I say my
blimey.
favourite example?
I tell you, he's always been a bit of a git. That's what I said.
But he's embracing it now, isn't he?
I am. I'm doing a new program called Git Idol.
Sounds good.
I don't want to talk about nepotism because it's making me nervous, because Frank always teases me because he's the first person I went to see after I left university, and I don't want to discuss it.
Oh, it was the.
It was the Director General of the BBC.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
We've got, you were talking about who sits in the stupid chair.
Yes.
259 has texted Helen Flanagan.
Sold.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We have a final email for the show today that I was going to read to you. Dear Frank, lovely Emily and the Cockerel, in one of the old podcasts, Emily mentions that she doesn't believe in sleepwalking. I have to say that, unfortunately, I'm one of the people affected by this sleep disorder. My somnambulism started about 7 years ago, in my late teens. I've never done anything hazardous while asleep, and I often tell people funny stories about my sleepwalking, but I wish it would stop one day. Slightly sad.
Me
Yeah.
too.
It's the one day, isn't it? It moves you.
Yeah.
I wish it would stop, would have been all right. One day becomes
Yeah.
poignant.
Yeah. Almost all of this nocturnal activity is quite benign, and I don't even leave the bedroom. But when I'm sleepwalking, I usually put on clothes or clean the area around me.
Oh, that's handy.
Sometimes, this is a turn up for the books.
Wonder if you'd like to sleep in our kitchen.
Sometimes when I go to bed naked, I wake up in my underwear.
Oh.
That's like the first time I went to the dentist. First time I went to the dentist, I was knocked out and they took 6 teeth out.
Are you sure you were at the dentist?
I was like 14, and I went to bed that night, and my underpants were on back to front.
Oh my God.
Now, my first thought was that I must have done it, obviously I must have just put them on back to front that day, but I'd never ever done it before and never done it since.
I think you went to the Birmingham butcher. That's what happened.
I think you might need to speak to the authorities.
Is it too late?
Once... no, not these days.
No?
Once I woke up with all the shoes that were in my room, brackets about 5 or 6 pairs.
What's wrong with you?
Is that all?
Can you imagine
5 or
that, Em?
6
Can
pairs.
you imagine that?
You animal.
Maybe she was on holiday. On my bed. In the morning, I had no
Imagine
recollection
if
of
Emily
doing that.
put all the shoes in her room on her bed. She'd be crushed. That'd be terrible.
Recently, I found some of my makeup in a half-eaten bag of breakfast cereal. I
Well,
also
yeah.
speak English when I sleepwalk, even though it's not my mother tongue, and I'm in denial when I sleepwalk. I keep saying that I'm not sleepwalking. My boyfriend broke up with me last week, and I've been sleepwalking more than ever. This affects the quality of my sleep and makes me feel tired and sleepy during the day. If this continues, I shall have to seek medical attention.
No, it'll be fine.
Love to you all, Hannah from our house, which is in Denmark.
No, I think you'll find it's in the middle of our street.
Very
Oh,
good.
that is. It's funny. It's sad. I think we need to pursue this thing because I'd like to know just for next week if we've got any other sleepwalkers who
Sleepwalking
said-
listeners that maybe have a correction.
Because
For it,
I
they
must
could
admit,
fix it.
I always thought that didn't exist as well. It's like,
No, I
like
believe you now.
hypnotism, just a made-up thing. And thank you so much for listening. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
Frank
Frank Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.